Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Encore, your radiant second act of life. Today's episode, we're going to focus on what now. So maybe you've gone through a major life transition, maybe you've retired, maybe you've changed jobs, maybe you've finished raising children, you decided to move, to downsize, whatever it is. So now, what now? Where do you start now? So I've chose today to video this episode in my home. Because this 20 years ago became my answer in many ways to my what now. It really helped me answer the calling of my soul and find fulfillment, enjoyment, and joy in life. And that's what the what now should be for you as well. So anytime we make a transition of any kind, it often leaves us in kind of a void, like, okay, I've emptied myself of this past responsibilities, purposes, whatever. And many times we find ourselves, okay, now what is my purpose? Now, purpose for many people sounds just large, like, oh, I have to have this big purpose in life. But it doesn't need to be huge. Purpose can be as simple as, being kind to everyone that I meet in some way. Purpose can mean being the best partner in your relationship. Purpose can mean finding some joy every day in something that you do. Purpose can mean engaging in volunteer service, serving others. And it may be seeking that next employment opportunity, whatever it is. It needs to be something that brings you enjoyment, meaning, and fulfillment in whatever aspect it is, or whatever degree of activity it is for you. So when I chose to move here, which is in very rural Oklahoma on a lake, 20 years ago, I had just experienced a whole series of unexpected changes, losses, and really, it was time to step into the unknown. And so I chose to move to a place that I knew filled my soul. It was close to nature, it was quiet, it was peaceful, and I knew that I would have space and time to seek myself and what was going to fill me up for that next phase or next stage of my life. So here I am, 20 years later, very happy, very fulfilled, but it did take some seeking, and it really took some time to commit to self-awareness, time to getting silent with myself, time to reflect on what was important to me and what I was ready to step into again. And it did take time. Of course, I did have to figure out how to support myself, and I made a choice or two that just was enough to keep me afloat for a while until I really was able to step into what my true love and passion was. And for me, on my reflection, I realized that I love to teach. I love to spend time with children. I loved nature, spending time in nature. I love to move and dance. And so keeping all of those in mind, how could I bring that into my next stage of life and radiate in that stage of life because it was fun, fulfilling, enjoyable, and meaningful. So every change that we have begins with awareness. And so it always starts with that self-awareness. And if you don't already have a practice of reflection, of quiet time, of asking yourself questions, what's important to me, what's meaningful to me, I encourage you to do so. Here's my partner in that. This is a journal that this is my go-to first thing every morning. And many times that's exactly what I'm doing, is asking myself the questions of, okay, what now? Okay, today, even tomorrow, what now will bring me joy and fulfillment? So it's important. So be mindful of spending time with people that fill you up. I'm going to back up just a little bit to episode 2. If you haven't seen it, you might review that, because first of all, you need to start with yourself, and you need to start with feeding every dimension of yourself: body, mind, emotions, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, so that you come forward into this next stage of life the best you can be with the energy level, your optimum energy level. And that's different from all of us. But first, start with you. Take care of your body, take care of expressing your emotions, take care of minding your mind, paying attention to what you're focusing on and intending for yourself, and take care of your heart. And speaking of your heart is the seat of your soul. And so when you take time to really listen to your heart, that's where your answers will come. And they may seem, maybe a little off, or out there or whatever. But again, ask yourself, is this something that can fulfill my now what? Or why not try it? Will it satisfy your curiosity in some way? So being mindful of your why you're choosing to do what you're doing. And this is all about mindfulness, being in the present moment, noticing how you feel when you focus on certain things, when you think about doing certain things. I have a practice that I would like to share with you, that anytime you're going to make some kind of a decision, say you have two choices, okay, I can go volunteer at this place or I can go to work in this place. What I encourage you to do is take time, close your eyes, and visualize yourself in, say, option A, whatever that is. And when you see yourself in that environment, perhaps with those people engaged in that activity, notice how you feel. And do you feel lighter, expansive, with kind of possibility mindset? Oh, this feels good. I feel I'm expanding into that. Or do you feel contracted? Do you feel yourself kind of, it could maybe meet a little resistance here. I'm kind of pulling in. So your heart, your soul will give you that indication of what is right for you. And I encourage you to listen to that. It's a powerful practice, and many times it just takes taking a few moments and then using your mind and the power of your mind to visualize what it could be for you. But your body will never lie. Okay, your body and your energy will never lie, and it will give you the indications that you need. So I'm going to pose a few questions for you just to give you a little guidance. Where do you start when you think, okay, now what? What am I going to do now? So here's some questions I'm going to pose. The first, ask yourself, what brings me a deep sense of joy and fulfillment, even when no one else is watching? What is it that you like to engage in and you feel good? You maybe lose track of time, while you're there. And it doesn't matter, who's around to even notice that. So pay attention to that. What is it that brings you that deep sense of fulfillment and enjoyment even when no one else is watching? Second, when do I feel most alive and authentic? When am I just on my true being shines? I am expansive, I'm alive, I'm energized. What are you doing in those moments? For me, it's dancing. I mean, I put on a song and just dance in the living room, and it's just me. I don't care who's watching, but I feel good when I'm dancing. It's always been that way since I was a little kid. Number 3, what have I always been drawn to even since childhood? And again, for me, it was movement and dance, always active, but it felt good. Play felt good. Physical play felt good. But maybe it's, flowers. You've always been attracted to flowers, birds, enjoying birds. What is it that you've always been attracted to, even as a child? It's fun to kind of go down that memory lane and realize kind of what lit you up as a little one. The next one. What challenges or hardships have shaped my perspective and my passion? I am clearly guided by hardships. I chose out of high school to go into college and major in a helping profession. At first, it was social work. But then I decided on occupational therapy. And that profession guided me and was the best choice I could have made for 47 years. But my guiding force was I wanted to help people lead better lives and be more resilient in leading those lives. And my passion for that rose out of being helped myself in some difficult times in high school. And so reflect on that, because your past experience, you are your past experiences, and they will guide you and give you what you need to move forward. What values are non-negotiables for you? And no matter what the circumstance, what values do you have that are just, so important? And, service, I'm one with a service heart. Maybe others aren't, and that's okay. But what is it that is just, I want to work with kind people. I want to work with compassionate people, people who are willing to grow and learn, whatever it is, and to be able to serve with love, and not out of fear or whatever it is. So be aware of what that is that guides you. What activities make you lose track of time? We touched on that before. What is it that just, you could just do for hours? Maybe it's painting, maybe it's talking with people, socializing. And are there any places or people that you're innately drawn to that give you a sense of belonging and of peace? And for me, was this spot. I always knew that was a healing place for me, and it's true. I think it just living here, living close to nature, adapting to the awesome changes of nature and being right in it has taught me to be more adaptive in the changes in my life as well. So nature is a great teacher. That's probably a topic for another podcast. Who inspires you and why do you admire them? I think we all had people that, wow, and at this stage of life, I'm looking at women primarily who are in their 80s that are just still just shining and active and engaged and sharp. And it's such an inspiration to spend time with these super agers, these super movers that really inspire me a lot. And this is kind of a deep question, but what legacy do you want to leave behind? After you're gone, and we're all going to leave this earth at some point, how do you want to be remembered? What is a legacy? I mean, it may be, something you created, maybe a relationship, a special relationship with a grandchild or a child or a person or a group or whatever it is. But being aware of, how do you want to be remembered? And then in what moments do you feel a connection to something greater than yourself? When do you feel that connection to the divine, for example? That's important to pay attention to. I mean, it's just kind of that we are all one and that we're all connected and that you are supported by the divine guidance, the universal source energy, whatever you choose to call it. And finally, what am I curious about but have yet to explore? Is there something that's been kind of, oh, I'd like to maybe try that and I wonder how that would feel? Go for it. That's kind of like, it could be your what next or part of your what next, and maybe it's not, but you're not going to know until you explore it. So what it boils down to is being true to yourself. And in order to know yourself, your authentic self, you need to take time to observe and to be aware of these things that light you up, that really ignite your spark to carry into the world. Because when you are your truest self, your most authentic self, you provide the greatest gift to not only the people that you love, but to the world at large. So, until next time, take some time to reflect on some of these questions. I would love to hear some comments. If you're willing to put some comments down below the video, I love to read those. I read them all, and I really appreciate that. So, thank you, and I'll see you next time.